What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? It's your boy Light Luciferian Prince coming at y'all once again. Part of the background noise, like I said, got things going on, got family, got shit going on for the weekend. Everybody enjoying their day, dealing with Decorations Day. You know what I'm saying? Formerly or commonly known as Memorial Day, but we're gonna say formally because we're gonna start calling things their proper context as opposed to what they used to be called. Stick with me. Now, hopefully my last video didn't really upset a lot of people too much who were cognitively dissonant about what's going on in the world, and that's perfectly fine. If you really don't want to be a person that comes to awareness, then fuck it. Deal with the New World Order. You follow what I'm saying? Because in order for you to be inculcated within the New World Order ideology, whether you like it or not, whether you wish to agree with it or not, whether you wish to accept its implementation or not, you will be included in the New World Order implementation and ideology if you don't want to ascend to a higher reality. Things can only work against you if you choose to let them work against you. And in my next upload, we'll talk about consent and the factors of it. But we ain't going to put the carriage before the horse. Let me go ahead and bring my war machine up here and read from something from Bouvier's Law Dictionary. Something that a lot of y'all need to learn about in the definitive sense, and also to mention what you really need to learn, what I'm getting ready to say, is to stop putting this word in your documentation. See, a lot of y'all had to realize that when y'all start filing documentations for certain people, a lot of definitions and usages of words and verbiage that you put on your paper are indicators. They are indicators. They are rejected based upon the preconceived notion of it not being accepted as being filed. So take it into consideration. The more proper verbiage you use in respects to yourself and your status, then you'll understand how this stuff works. But I ain't going to hold you up. Check this out. The definition of this word is called inhabitant. And I'm going to go into the definition first and then the structuralized emphasis it has on people and society. Inhabitant. One who has his domicile in a place is an inhabitant of that place. One who has an actual fixed residence in that place. Number two, a mere intention to remove to a place will not make a man an inhabitant of such place. Now notice the distinction with this. A mere intention to remove to a place will not make a man an inhabitant of that place. Although as a sign of such intention, he may have sent his wife and children to reside there. His intention to quit his residence unless consummated deprive him of his right as an inhabitant. Now, from Bouvier's Law Dictionary, you can see the case citations therein. Here's the third definition. The inhabitants of the United States may be classed into 1, those born within the country, and 2, those born out of it. Here's the most drastic one. The natives consist first of white people. Now y'all see why these individuals promulgate in the public fool system that they some way have some lineal descendancy, because in their legal system they contrived the way to make it seem as if such, and we know they're not natives. Now, to the others who basically subscribe to my channel, trust me, this is not hate, this is real. This is realistic. You cannot tell the world that you are a native of a country when there is no country on the earth in which you are native of. Every particular unique diaspora of people have a direct lineal descendancy to somewhere. Except who? Now, we've been misled through the public fool system. My melanated and carbonated and stellar bodies of individuals who are from the extra planetary dimension we call Earth, who are they deemed in their history books and their so-called resources to call you an alien, which means foreigner in legal definition, but we're cool with that. They want you to believe that you don't have a trace or some type of ascendancy to where you are today. But people be like, well, why is it that every other race of people, every other diaspora, so to speak, of people have a direct descendancy, and it all has been tainted? The thing you need to understand and overstand and understand is that yours has been superimposed upon based upon the richness of the contributions you've given to history. Straight the fuck up. Racial institutions have otherwise totally tried to mock, deride, degrade, and totally obliterate the genius of the melanated mind from society, and then they subjugated you to a less than proper status, otherwise known as a second or third class citizen. It's a fucking fact. To prove it to you, I'll show you. The natives consist first, notice what it said, first, of white persons, and these are all citizens of the United States unless they have lost that right, such as expatriation. 2, second class citizen of the Aborigines, and these are not in general citizens of the United States, nor do they possess any political power. I'll read that again. Second definition of the Aborigines, and these are not in general citizens of the United States, nor do they possess any political power. And the third class, let's go, of Negroes or descendants of the African race, and these generally possess no political authority whatever, not being able to vote nor to hold any office. And fourth class, of the children of foreign ambassadors who are citizens or subject as their fathers are or were at the time of their birth. See what I'm saying? It's a social hierarchy. Aboriginal people who are native to this land, according to a corporate charter called the Constitution, have no political power. Doesn't seem so disadvantaged when, of course, it's a government separate and distinct from their own. The actual individuals that are of the Nubian or the Ethiopic race or the Kushites are the individuals who were robbed of their birthright of politicizing themselves because they were otherwise deemed as inhabitants and not natives or aboriginal. We get that. So they put themselves first, superimposing their ideologies and beliefs in science, in religion, in medicine, in anything that has to do with their corporate structure. And now I keep nailing the motherfucking nails in the coffin because they don't want children knowing about critical race theory, about how they manipulated some shit they never built themselves. I don't give a fuck if you disagree with what I'm saying. This is in their law. This is what they wrote. They go by this shit. Now, again, these new age ideologists come along and say that, well, that's old. So what? Don't forget what happened yesterday, because what happened yesterday dictates today, and what happens today will dictate tomorrow ad infinitum. Miss me with that whole disassociative mentality. Straight. Here's the fifth. Persons born out of the jurisdiction of the United States are first children of the citizens of the United States, which are considered white people. Caucasians, if you will, or persons who have been such, they are citizens of the United States, provided the father, Caucasians, of such children have resided within the same. This is an act of Congress of April 14, 1802. Notice the preamble of the Constitution says, we the people. It didn't say the people. It didn't say the entirety of the people. It said, we the people. What should have been added in that line should have said, we the people who here are present today as the contractors of the documentation that's being laid out. And this is the reason why we're laying it out. But however, you've been tricked to believe that this Constitution, these laws, these statutes being called the supreme law of the land are actually binding on you. Why do you think that there's so many flaws in the legal system? Why do you think so many amendments have had to have been made? Why do you think that man's law is more supreme than divine principle? You people, Israelites, Moors, Moorish, all you motherfuckers that have been misleading people with these doctrines. And y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the whole community, because I know that there's an extrovert community of people who don't agree with that. You have been imposing this belief that these statutes are the written word of the Creator, and you've lost touch with who the Creator really is. Going by Supreme Court cases and citations. That's just what you use to keep them in check. Because obviously, jurisprudence stems from a conscientiousness of divine wisdom and judgment to put the heathen in order. You don't need to use the heathen's doctrine to put the civilized person in order. That's a heathen doctrine. Straight up. That's a doctrine that they use to justify their fucked up ways. You don't like it? It is what it is. Straight. But divine order means natural over artificial. That's why some of y'all, even in y'all diet to this day, I choose artificial, natural flavoring over what really is natural. You don't even know what the fuck natural is anymore. From birth, from inception of the womb, you've been taught all this shit that has been introduced to you, whether art education, dietary, scientific, whatever, artificial. Y'all take that shit down hook, line, and sinker. And then wonder why you're in the condition that you're in. Because you forsook the divine and you took the artificial. Instead of listening to the divine word that comes straight from the source of the creator, you chose to bow down before an image of some shit that ain't worth nothing. Ain't got no life in it. And then you wonder why people been wandering in the fucking wilderness for so long. Asking why? Because you're still bound down before a fucking false image. The truth of the divine comes within the enlightenment of the personality of the spirit who puts it on in themselves before and displays his actions or her actions before men and stand righteous. You don't have to bow down to these people fucking level. Stand as being divine. That's what sovereign is. Divine. I don't give a fuck what you put on paper. I'm divine and I'm superior to that because I had what's called divine right. Not that so-called Anglo-Saxon doctrine where they wanted to convince their people that their God convinced them that they were superior to the other people, but still needed permission from the people they wish to govern to give them permission for them to be on the seat. And you motherfuckers still call these punk bitches royals to this day. Elite. They ain't elite. If you were so elite, you wouldn't need my consent to rule shit. They got all the money because it comes off of your fucking back. Y'all have let these servants ride horses and y'all walk upon the face of the fucking earth and complain about your status and complain about your position and then complain because you don't fit in a construct of a government that never had no favor towards any of y'all. But you can see definitively for yourself where this comes from. What more do I really need to say? See, we can argue semantics all day. But when it comes down to definition, defining, define, now it gets very serious. Because in the aggregate sense, you have to realize why these things are as they are. Fuck your beliefs. Your beliefs were given to you secondhand. Now, I know a lot of people might be offended by that. Your religion is watered down. Christianity, Islam is watered down. It's watered down. Because it took you away from the higher divine nature of self. What's written in the book, you live according to it like it's law. And man wrote it. So now you living according to the divine or living to a construct of man. I remember, back in the days, I'm from North New Jersey. It is what it is. All the brothers, I got to pray 5 times a day. Why? Because you afraid because somebody else going to see you not doing it? It's called conscious contact. Staying in contact with your creator 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of a revolution of the solar year. What the fuck is wrong with y'all for 5 times a day? Or reserve it to Sunday. Man, get out the fucking paganism. Get out of that. Shit don't work for you. It don't work. It works to further subjugate you to someone else's agenda. Then people are appalled when these people who foist this shit upon them are often at some sort of disadvantage to themselves when they say, well, he or she isn't doing this because it's control. Learn how to tap into the divine and get out of the artificial. That's all I'm really saying to those who are wise enough to hear. Get out of the artificial. Get out of that construct that someone else predisposed for you to fucking fail. Now, if you want to fail, stop this video at 14:45. Get the fuck on. Bye. Unsubscribe. Don't email. I don't give a fuck. It's your life. But for those who actually understand and carry the blessed nature, the blessed, not the be less, but the fortunate nature of the higher ascension of the spiritual to realms beyond, and to be entrusted with the gift to make sure that you carry the ark within yourself. Don't give it away to these fucking scoundrels. Don't give away your fucking birthright. That's the reason why we're in this fucking mess. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. We're in this mess because we don't believe enough within ourselves. We have to wait for somebody else to validate who the fuck we are when we live in the divine ourselves. We don't need no fucking body's permission to do shit. Laws are originated in order to govern and control people to a specific populace's ability to control the majority. Yeah, it's your fucking mind. That's all it's about. Divine law supersedes man's law any day. Any day. Now, if you don't believe in the divine, fuck it. Bow down and suck the glizzy of white supremacy. Because it ain't supreme at all. It's just supreme because the ideology is that the knowledge of how it's been practiced has been hidden from you. But there is no such thing as white supremacy, because color, which cannot be differentiated from the actual divinity or spirit, in and of itself ain't even in the same ballpark. Straight. Divine is more superior than any color can be distinguished as a label, because every tree is known by its fruits. End of discussion. Your first time viewing this channel, like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button so every time I upload a video, you'll be notified. But now, for those who are chosen of the fold, those who know, it is what it is. Oisio family, y'all get these motherfucking colonialistic leanings away from you, because it ain't faring you worth shit. If it don't work for the counterpart who's imposing it upon you, what the fuck makes you think it's going to work for you? And why the fuck do you think they leech off you every time you become innovative and creative, and your ideas are being stolen and your creativity is being hijacked because you live by the law and the prescription of a fucking parasite? And you will suffer until you come up off of that ideology and leaning that they're right and you're wrong. Straight up. Light.